Huge megalithic temples, half buried in sand, monolithic shrines rising like sandcastles from the beach, jungle-covered caves, and mysterious submerged ruins, said to date back over 10,000 years. This is Mahabalipuram, one of the most mysterious megalithic sites in South India. According to ancient Indian legends, 7 temples once stood near the shore at Mahabalipuram. All but one were destroyed and became submerged by the sea over thousands of years. Only the shore temple still stands, with its massive granite walls and eroded sculptures facing the waves, its origins lost in the mists of time. In the 7th century AD, Mahabalipuram became the capital of the powerful Pallava dynasty, with ties to ancient Persia and the Sassanid Empire. The Pallava kings created, or perhaps repurposed, dozens of megalithic and monolithic stone monuments, including a collection of 5 spectacular pyramidal structures carved from a single piece of granite called rathas, and over 10 rock-cut cave temples containing exceptional relief carvings and decorations, with the most spectacular of all occupying an entire cliff face, depicting the descent of the river Ganges from heaven. Just how old is Mahabalipuram really, and can its eroded granite temples be just the last remnant of a lost sunken city, dating back perhaps to the end of the last ice age, over 10,000 years ago? Find out with us as we explore this fascinating and mysterious site. The ruins of Mahabalipuram are located in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu, about 60 kilometers south of the state capital of Chennai, on a thin strip of land bordered by the Indian Ocean. They comprise 3 main groups, including the shore temple near the beach, the main group of 10 cave temples, with the descent of the Ganges relief panel carved from the hard granite of Mahabalipuram hill, and the 5 Rathas or monolithic chariots farther along the seashore. Another group of temples, located just a couple of miles to the north of the main site, includes the famous Tiger Cave and other rock-cut temples. The shore temple may be the last survivor of the legendary 7 pagodas, which were all gradually conquered by the sea over thousands of years. In its present form, carved by centuries of erosion, it consists of a large 18 meters high granite pyramidal tower rising majestically near the shore. All around it are the ruins of several smaller shrines and huge granite walls that served as breakwaters against the encroaching sea. Much of the temple complex still lies buried under the sand near the beach, including numerous broken sculptures and stepped granite tanks decorated with images of lions and statues of the Nandi bull. Legends of a great sunken city off the coast of Mahabalipuram began circulating as early as the medieval period, with reports of submerged temples and huge ruins visible only during low tide circulating well into the 19th and early 20th century. These ancient legends were dramatically confirmed when the December 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami caused the sea to recede by several hundred meters, revealing dozens of submerged structures up to 1 kilometer offshore, including the remnants of possible temples, huge walls, and sculptures. The age of these sunken ruins is still a matter of archaeological debate, as their depth would suggest an age of several thousand years, perhaps extending as far back as the end of the last ice age. Less than 1 kilometer from the shore temple stand 5 more pyramidal temples known as rathas or chariots, believed to represent the mythical vehicles or chariots of the gods. Each one of the temples and the surrounding sculptures were carved from a single stone, taking advantage of some huge natural granite boulders lying by the shore. The structures, whether commissioned by the Pallava kings or recarved from more ancient monuments, likely remained unfinished, as shown by their incomplete sculptures and decorations. The largest of the 5 rathas has dimensions comparable to a small temple, rising over 12 meters high. Taken together, these 5 temples showcase the whole diversity of South Indian Dravidian architecture, with the earliest examples modeled on Buddhist chaityas or prayer halls. These are richly decorated with a profusion of sculptures, pilasters, and architectural ornamentations, all carved from the hard Deccan granite. Compared to the shore temple, these rathas appear to be in a much better state of preservation, which may be indicative of their more recent age or of them having been reworked by later kings in their present shape. A profusion of animal sculptures surround the 5 rathas, including colossal life-size statues of bulls, lions, and elephants, also carved from huge monolithic boulders. The remnants of 3 more monolithic rathas are located on swampy ground to the west of the main group, bordering the lagoon. In spite of their unfinished state, these small monolithic temples provide unique insights into how these monuments were carved from the hard granite, by first hammering out and then chiseling the rock surface. Behind the shore temple and the 5 rathas, the ground rises precipitously to form a large granite hillock, in which at least 10 cave temples and several more structural temples were constructed under the rule of the Pallava kings between the 7th and 8th century AD. Coming from the shore temple, the first structure one encounters on the cliff face is a giant open-air rock relief believed to depict the descent of the Ganges. This enormous relief, measuring over 29 meters wide by 13 meters high, contains over 100 life-size figures, including gods, demigods, humans, and animals. The exact subject of this immense composition is still debated, but is generally believed to represent the descent from heaven of the holy river Ganges. Other interpretations relate the scene with the episode of Arjuna's penance described in the Mahabharata. On the top of the panel is a representation of the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas, with rams and mountain lions carved amidst celestial couples and other hunting scenes. A figure standing on one leg is interpreted as Arjuna, a devotee of the god Shiva, performing austerities in order to win the god's favor, as narrated in the epic Mahabharata. A natural cleft in the rock cuts the relief in half and is believed to represent the river Ganges. The cleft is covered in figures of Nagas, serpent deities performing various penances and austerities so that the holy river may descend to earth. During the rainy season, water from a nearby reservoir flows along the cleft, creating the effect of a small waterfall. Another famous scene includes the representation of a temple with a sage giving a sermon to his students. The elephants represented to the right of the cleft are near life-size and realistically portrayed with their baby elephants in their march to drink water from the holy river. The bottom part of the relief bears evidence to the composition having been left unfinished, with large rough patches of unsculptured rock and roughly defined squares where more figures were likely to be carved. Interestingly, the relief appears to have continued far below the floor level of a nearby rock-cut temple, showing that several meters of soil accumulation must have occurred between the time the huge relief panel was carved and when the temple was constructed. A large cave temple with a pillared facade opens up immediately to the left of the descent of the Ganges relief panel. Called the Krishna mandapa, it also contains some extraordinary relief carvings. These represent various scenes from the life of Krishna, interwoven with representations of village life, including people, cattle, and other animals. The central panel represents Krishna holding up the holy Govardhana mountain, with another famous scene showing Krishna playing the flute as people and animals listen intently. A small side room is particularly interesting, for it shows a set of unfinished squares where sculptures were intended to be carved, thus providing valuable insights into the stoneworking methods and technologies employed by the ancient builders. Proceeding towards the north, one next encounters a large balanced rock known as Krishna's butterball, standing almost miraculously balanced on the edge of a steep granite incline. The enormous rock is believed to weigh over 280 tons, measuring nearly 6 meters in diameter. Near the rock, a huge circular water tank carved deep into the granite bedrock testifies to the stoneworking skill of the ancient carvers. Next to the tank is another beautiful rock-cut temple. Called the Trimurti cave, it has a tripartite structure with a linga sanctuary in the center and beautiful representations of Dvarapalas and celestial dancers, flanking the entrances to each one of the cells. On the opposite side of the temple is a beautiful carving of an elephant with a monkey and a peacock. The summit of the hill is occupied by a small structural temple, which likely served as a lighthouse in antiquity. Below it is an elegantly carved rock-cut temple with its unfinished facade framed by 4 sleek pilasters with cushioned capitals. This is called the Mahishasura Mardini cave on account of its rich interior decoration depicting the killing of the bull-faced demon Mahishasura Mardini by the goddess Durga. The ensuing battle is realistically portrayed, with dwarves and Amazons brandishing weapons and shields. The goddess Durga is shown riding a lion in the act of aiming an arrow from her bow at the giant demon, whose representation echoes the Greek and Roman Minotaur legends. Another exceptional relief panel on the opposite wall depicts the god Vishnu sleeping among the coils of a five-headed snake. The rock in front of it appears to have been carved in huge squares, where more figures were likely intended to be carved. From there, the trail continues towards the modern lighthouse, from which it is possible to appreciate beautiful views of the entire site. A small unfinished temple near the base of the lighthouse provides interesting insights into how these extraordinary structures were carved, by cutting the rock into huge square blocks where figures would later be carved. Proceeding farther, one next encounters the Dharmaraja temple. Its simple facade contains only 2 pillars and 2 pilasters, leading to a triple sanctuary flanked by now badly defaced guardian sculptures. Similar to it, the small Kotikal temple has a simple 2-pillar facade, leading to a sanctum framed by a pair of female Dvarapala sculptures. The Ramanuja temple is one of the largest at the site. It is preceded by a simple exterior colonnade porch, concealing an ornate facade framed by lion columns and pilasters, whose exquisite ornamentation contrasts with the stark simplicity of the unfinished interior. On the summit of the hill may be seen the foundations of a huge granite gateway in the Vijayanagara style, with the characteristic knobs or protrusions used for lifting the stones still visible on some of the blocks. A singular freestanding monolithic temple dedicated to the elephant god Ganesha, called the Ganesha Ratha, was also part of the ritual pathway going around the sacred Mahabalipuram hill. From there, the trail continues towards the Varaha cave, probably the most ornate of the Mahabalipuram rock-cut temples. Past a pair of elegantly fluted columns with lion bases, one is met with a profusion of carvings. The northern panel narrates the Varaha legend, where the man-boar avatar of Vishnu rescues Bhumi from the waters of Patala. The southern panel narrates the Trivikrama legend, in which Vishnu measures the heavens with 3 huge steps, leaving the dwarf Bali staring in amazement below. The rear walls of the mandapa also contain beautiful carved panels, one representing Durga standing on the lotus surrounded by her devotees, and another showing the goddess Lakshmi with 2 elephants on either side, symbolizing the blessings of wealth and prosperity. Completing the decoration is a now empty sanctuary flanked by guardian Dvarapala sculptures. Besides the temples, countless more monuments and rock-cut sculptures adorn the granite hills of Mahabalipuram. Located a few kilometers to the north of Mahabalipuram, the Tiger Cave is another rock-cut temple notable for its intricate tiger carvings. The cave entrance is surrounded by numerous tiger heads, which together create the optical illusion of an open tiger mouth, in the center of which stands a throne, believed to have been used by the Pallava kings to address their audiences. Near it are the remnants of other unfinished rock sculptures, leading to a small rock-cut temple. The temple has a beautiful carving of Durga and a Nandi statue with a lingam in front of it. The group of monuments at Mahabalipuram represents an extraordinary ensemble of the diverse artistic traditions of the Deccan, reflecting as well more distant influences from the Persian and the Roman Hellenistic world. The presence of extensive underwater ruins off the coast of Mahabalipuram appears to confirm the local legends that speak of a sunken city that was destroyed by the gods, jealous of its beauty. Based on the death of the submerged structures of the coast, it is possible that they may be thousands of years old, far predating any of the other structures at the site. It is also possible that the Pallava kings reused or repurposed the megalithic remnants of a far older city. Mahabalipuram stands as one of the greatest and most enigmatic megalithic sites in all of India, a doorway to the most ancient and mysterious past of the Indian subcontinent, whose secrets still await to be revealed from under the water and the sand of centuries.